Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. My name is Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso, and I'm here to tell you something that's been burning in my heart and in the hearts of millions across Africa. We are done staying silent. We are done bowing down. We are done letting foreign powers treat our continent like their playground. A few days ago, a message came out. Words they say came from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel.
The dusty winds of Burkina Faso whispered secrets of resistance long before Ibrahim Traoré was born. But in the heart of a young boy growing up in a land scarred by history and silenced by neo-colonial chains, something deeper stirred, a hunger not for power, but for truth. He was not born in luxury, nor did he belong to any political dynasty. His roots were humble, grounded in the soil of a country that had given so much to the world and yet received so little in return. As a child, he would listen to the elders speak about Thomas Sankara, the legendary revolutionary who once dared to dream of an independent Africa. Those stories weren't bedtime tales, they were blueprints for defiance. While other boys imagined a future shaped by comfort or ambition, Ibrahim watched the news with silent eyes. He didn't just see headlines, he saw patterns. Patterns of coups dressed as democracy, of elections manipulated by money, of leaders who smiled for cameras while signing away their nation's wealth. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, was caught in the grip of an invisible empire, one that no longer wore colonial uniforms but controlled through banks, debt, and foreign advisors. These truths haunted him, but they also sharpened his resolve. He joined the military not for status but for purpose. The barracks became his university, the battlefield his classroom. It was there he studied not just warfare, but systems. Systems of control. How aid packages arrived with conditions. How peacekeeping missions guarded economic interests. How foreign troops stayed, for security, but never left. He didn't just wear the uniform, he began to understand the uniform's weight. He understood that the enemy wasn't just at the border, it was embedded in boardrooms thousands of miles away. His colleagues saw him as disciplined, quiet, focused, but there was something they couldn't quite place. Unlike others, he didn't chase ranks or rewards. He read late at night, philosophy, African history, decolonial theory. He asked dangerous questions during briefings. He challenged narratives most had long accepted. Some warned him to stay silent. He never argued, but he never stopped watching. As political unrest gripped the nation once again, the streets filled with protests. Youth demanded change. Farmers demanded land. The poor demanded bread. The government responded with tear gas and silence. Foreign powers watched from a distance, offering statements of concern but no real solutions. Traoré stood on the edge of these moments, not as a passive observer, but as a soldier who now faced a decision larger than himself. He began meeting with other officers in secret. They weren't plotting for power, they were planning a rescue. A rescue of dignity, of sovereignty, of purpose. Ibrahim's voice was not loud in those meetings, but it was clear. If we do not act now, he said, our children will ask why we allowed history to repeat itself in silence. The atmosphere was tense. The risks were monumental. But he carried a calmness that inspired trust. He wasn't a revolutionary out of rage, he was a liberator forged by clarity. What began as whispers became commands. What began as observation became action. And what began as a soldier's quiet anger was about to ignite into a fire no foreign power could extinguish. Burkina Faso didn't know it yet, but the soil had grown a son who would rewrite its story. Not with permission, not with compromise, but with the full weight of generations behind him, and a vision no longer willing to wait.